In every era, there are people who look at the world not as it is, but as it could be. People who refuse to accept the limits placed before them. People who believe that the horizon is not the end, but the beginning. Welcome back to this channel, where we explore the lives of extraordinary individuals whose courage, curiosity, and determination reshaped human history. If you are someone who seeks inspiration, knowledge, and the strength to pursue your own dreams, then you have found your place. Today, we journey into the life of a man who dared to cross an ocean when others feared the unknown. A man whose vision changed the map of the world forever. This is the story of Christopher Columbus. Not as a myth, not as a symbol, but as a human being driven by ambition, faith, and an unshakable belief in the impossible. Let us begin. Chapter 1. The Weaver's Son. Christopher Columbus was born in 1451 in Genoa, Italy, to a humble family of wool weavers. His father worked long hours, his mother kept the home together, and young Christopher grew up surrounded by the smell of dye, cloth, and sweat. But his eyes were always somewhere else. He would climb the city walls and stare at the sea for hours. Ships came and went, carrying spices, stories, and secrets. Columbus listened to sailors speak of storms, monsters, and lands beyond the horizon. Most children dreamed of becoming merchants or craftsmen. Columbus dreamed of oceans. He had little education, but he devoured every book he could find. Geography, astronomy, navigation. He studied maps until he memorized every coastline. He believed the world was far smaller than most scholars claimed. He believed Asia could be reached by sailing west. He believed destiny was calling him. Chapter 2. The First Taste of the Sea. At 14, Columbus left home to work on merchant ships. Life at sea was brutal. Storms, pirates, hunger, and endless labor. But Columbus thrived. He learned to read the stars. He learned to repair sails in the dark. He learned to survive. One night, his ship was attacked off the coast of Portugal. The vessel burned and sank. Columbus survived by clinging to a piece of wood and swimming 6 miles to shore. Most men would have quit the sea forever. Columbus only grew more determined. He settled in Lisbon, the center of European exploration, where he studied advanced navigation and listened to stories from sailors who had traveled to Africa, Iceland, and beyond. The world was expanding, and Columbus wanted to be part of it. Chapter 3. A Vision No One Believed. By his early 30s, Columbus had developed a bold idea: sail west to reach Asia. But scholars rejected him. Merchants laughed at him. Kings dismissed him. They said the ocean was too vast. They said his calculations were wrong. They said he would die. But Columbus believed something they did not. The unknown is not a barrier. It is an invitation. He spent years traveling from court to court, seeking support. Portugal said no. Genoa said no. Venice said no. England said no. He was mocked, rejected, and ignored. But he refused to give up. Chapter 4. The Queen Who Listened. In 1486, Columbus presented his idea to the Spanish monarchs, Ferdinand and Isabella. At first, they rejected him like everyone else. But Queen Isabella saw something in him, not just ambition, but conviction. Still, the court hesitated. Years passed. Columbus waited, argued, negotiated, and persisted. Finally, in 1492, after Spain completed its long war to reclaim Granada, the Queen made a decision that would change history. She would fund Columbus's voyage, not because the idea was safe, not because it was certain, but because she believed in the power of bold dreams. Chapter 5. Preparing for the Unknown. Columbus was given 3 ships: the Niña, the Pinta, the Santa Maria, They were small, fragile, and not designed for crossing an ocean, but they were all he had. He gathered a crew of sailors, adventurers, and even prisoners seeking a second chance. Many were terrified. Some believed they would fall off the edge of the world. On August 3, 1492, the ship set sail from Palos de la Frontera. As the coastline faded behind them, Columbus whispered a prayer. Let the sea open its secrets. Chapter 6. Into the Endless Blue. The Atlantic Ocean was vast and merciless. Days turned into weeks. Weeks turned into months. The crew grew restless. Food spoiled. Water ran low. Fear spread. Some demanded they turn back. Others plotted mutiny. But Columbus remained calm. He studied the winds, the birds, the currents. He encouraged his men with confidence he did not always feel. He believed land was near. He believed destiny was close. And then, on October 12, 1492, a sailor cried out, "Tiara! Land!" Chapter 7. The New World. Columbus stepped onto an island in the Bahamas, believing he had reached Asia. He named it San Salvador. The air was warm, the forests were lush, the people were peaceful and curious. Columbus wrote in his journal, "It is the most beautiful land human eyes have ever seen." He explored the Caribbean, Cuba, Hispaniola, documenting plants, animals, and cultures unknown to Europe. He believed he had found the edge of Asia. He did not know he had encountered a continent unknown to his world, but his voyage had changed history forever. Chapter 8. Return as a Hero. When Columbus returned to Spain, he was celebrated as a hero. Crowds cheered, bells rang. The king and queen honored him. He was given titles, wealth, and authority. He was no longer the weaver's son. He was admiral of the ocean sea. But Columbus was not satisfied. He wanted to explore further. He wanted to prove his theory. He wanted to reach Asia. And so he prepared for another voyage. Chapter 9. The Second Voyage. A fleet of 17 ships. In 1493, Columbus set sail again, this time with 17 ships and over 1,000 men. He explored new islands, Dominica, Guadeloupe, Puerto Rico, Jamaica. He established settlements, faced storms, disease, and conflict. He struggled to govern. He struggled to maintain order. Exploration was one thing, leadership was another. But Columbus pressed on, driven by the same fire that had carried him across the ocean. Chapter 10. The Third Voyage. The Coast of South America. In 1498, Columbus embarked on his third voyage. This time, he sailed farther south. He reached the coast of present-day Venezuela, the first time he set foot on the mainland of the Americas. He wrote, "I have reached a land greater than any known to man." But political enemies in Spain accused him of mismanagement. He was arrested, chained, and sent back to Spain in disgrace. The man who had crossed an ocean returned in humiliation. Yet even then, he refused to surrender. Chapter 11. The Final Voyage. In 1502, Columbus convinced the king to allow one final expedition. He was older now, weaker, but his spirit remained unbroken. He explored Central America, Honduras, Nicaragua, Costa Rica, Panama, searching for a passage to Asia. He battled storms, shipwrecks, hunger, and betrayal. He spent months stranded in Jamaica, waiting for rescue. But even in suffering, he wrote in his journal, "The Lord has given me the faith to continue." Chapter 12. The Last Days. Columbus returned to Spain in 1504, exhausted and ill. Queen Isabella, his greatest supporter, died soon after. He spent his final years writing letters, defending his legacy, and dreaming of the sea. On May 20th, 1506, Christopher Columbus passed away in Valladolid. He died believing he had reached Asia. He never knew he had discovered a world unknown to Europe, but his voyages had changed the course of history. Chapter 13: The Legacy of a Dreamer. Columbus's legacy is complex, vast, and deeply debated. But one truth remains: he changed the world. He connected continents, he expanded global knowledge, he ignited an age of exploration. He proved that the horizon is not the end. His courage reshaped human history. Chapter 14: Lessons from Columbus. Columbus's life teaches us: dreams require courage. Persistence is stronger than rejection. Vision is often misunderstood. Great journeys begin with uncertainty. The world belongs to the bold. He was not perfect. He was human, flawed, ambitious, determined, but he dared to attempt the impossible. Chapter 15: The Final Reflection. As we look at the world today, our maps, our global connections, our shared history, we see the echoes of Columbus's voyages. He crossed an ocean with nothing but faith, courage, and a belief that the world was bigger than anyone imagined. His story reminds us: the greatest discoveries are made by those who refuse to turn back. Thank you for spending this time exploring the life of Christopher Columbus. If this story inspired you, moved you, or opened your mind to new perspectives, then carry its message with you. Every horizon hides a possibility. Every dream requires courage. And every life, including yours, holds oceans waiting to be crossed. This channel exists to remind you of that truth. Until next time, stay curious, stay courageous, and keep exploring.